Okay, now it's recording, so let's admit everybody. Why it's not working? It's not letting me. Okay, here. Everybody's coming. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to Title Tuesday. Thank you for being here.
Hello.
Guys, do me a favor. If you want a copy of this recording, type all your information on the chat room. Put your name, your rep information, and your email. We need your email. We are going to start at 1:05, so we have 4 minutes.
Thank you, sir. You're looking good today.
I don't know about that, but
Come on. Thank you.
oh, they were talking to you? Sorry.
I'm just
Talking to
playing.
both of you, you guys look great today.
I could do that.
Guys, I'm going to...
I'm going that way. Go that way, not that
Hello,
way.
Michael.
Oh,
I'm coming up.
is that Sean?
Yes, sir. How are you? Nice.
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
Very good, very good. We are waiting for you, sir.
Guys,
Thank you, guys.
Thursday, we have a special training this Thursday at 1 p.m.
I'm not too
We're going to train on foreclosures. There's going to be a wave of foreclosures coming. A lot of agents, they keep talking about short sales, a lot of short sales. I don't think we're going to have short sales. We're going to have foreclosures. So we're going to train on techniques and timelines and all that. So this is Thursday at 1 p.m.
They're gonna start at 105. Waiting for all the late.
Please mute your phone, mute your device. All right, guys, we have 2 more minutes. So I was saying that on Thursday, we have a special training this coming Thursday at 1 p.m. We're going to talk about foreclosures. What's going to happen on this market? Are we going to have short sales? Are we going to have standard sales with NODs and trustee sales? So we're going to touch on techniques on how to approach these potential sellers, okay? So it's going to be Thursday at 1 p.m. Make sure you contact your tower rep for the credentials. Two more minutes. I'm going to ask you to please mute your device, your phone, your iPad, your computer. $104, one more minute. All right, Juice, could you please start?
All right, guys, let's get started. Gonna get started with the ground rules. Number one, all questions are to be entered into the chat, and question will be asked at the end of the presentation on your behalf. Number two, please make sure your device is muted. Number three, if your question is not asked or answered, you will be given the speaker's contact info so you can directly contact them yourself. Also, we would like to thank all of our PCT reps from the IE, LA, Oxnard, Ventura, Orange, and San Diego. Thank you for inviting your clients into this training. Please, you guys, make sure if you guys want a copy of this to enter your name, email, phone number, and your PCT rep into the chat. We will make sure you guys get a copy of this. And as Jorge was stating, make sure you stay tuned for our training for next Tuesday. It's going to be extremely interesting and extremely beneficial to all of you guys. It's going to be on foreclosures. And obviously, we know a lot of those probably will be coming here in the near future. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
Sorry to interrupt you. No, that training, it's on Thursday. This coming Thursday is going to be the foreclosures. Next Tuesday, we have the economists. We're going to send you the credentials. We have an economist talking about the future of real estate. So it's, Thursday, it's short sales. I'm sorry, foreclosures. Tuesday, it's the economists that we have. Thank you.
There you go. Next Tuesday is going to be the economist. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. The reps will send you guys the links. Make sure you ask for it. And now you guys, Jorge, without further ado, I want to make sure I introduce Jorge is going to be training on PCT and definitely title tips that we have. As you guys all know, Jorge is our LA county manager, very resourceful. So make sure that you guys tune in for him. And without further ado, we have Tyler Stinken with Cole Realty Resource. So there you go, Tyler, take it away.
There you go. Sorry about that. I muted myself for a minute, and then it wouldn't let me unmute myself. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate the opportunity, and please keep it as interactive as possible. So as I present, if you guys have questions, we'll monitor the chat box, and I'll address questions as we go. So if you'll make sure to interrupt me as I'm talking. I get kind of on a roll sometimes, pretty passionate about what I do, and so please, though, make it as interactive as possible. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, everyone. If you guys haven't heard of Cole before, our company's been around forever, right? When I mean forever, I mean 70 plus years, 7 decades been in the business of helping small businesses with their lead generation and prospecting, right? And not just people in the real estate industry, any small business you can think about it. Insurance, home services, plumbers, roofers, you name it. And I've been here for about 16 years. And I remember probably about 15 years ago, the TV series Law and Order, they actually called our company and said, hey, can you send us a directory, a set of your directories, your big blue crisscross directories to our set? Because what we've done is we've always printed these big blue crisscross directories that you could look up and find everybody up and down a street name by house number, 505, 506, 507 Apple Street. And law enforcement and police officers would use our product all the time in order to call everybody up and down the street, saw the break-in that happened, right? So fast forward, we're at today. We're obviously all online, where you have access 24/7 at your fingertips to create prospect lists by a neighborhood, by a zip code, to get real-time access to people's cell phone numbers, their email addresses, and all these different data attributes as well, 250 some different data attributes. But what I'm going to really talk about today is, what are you doing to make sure that you are fulfilling your 2020 goals, right? Obviously, 2020 has been a crazy year, right? And it could have just knocked you away from what you were on plan on doing for the year. And so we want to make sure to hit reset. And what are you doing to make sure you're getting to where you want to be? And now, how do you prospect? You know, the days of networking person to person, holding open houses, door knocking, might not be a lot in your area, right? So what are you doing to offset that? So we're going to talk about 3 winning strategies to maximize prospecting from home. And the first thing is going to be ways to team up with maybe a nonprofit or a local restaurant that needs your support right now, and use that as a way to do an outreach. using basic technology to maximize your efforts, like dropping voicemails, things like that. And then cloning your ideal prospect. Who's your ideal prospect and what's your strategy to go after them? Okay, the first case study I'm going to talk about right away, everybody, is how to engage with your local communities right now. This is one of the top agents across the country, Greg Harrelson. He's a top 1% agent nationwide, the #1 realtor in South Carolina. And when I've interviewed him over the years, I've interviewed him multiple times over the years. He's been a client of ours for about a decade. And he always says, in order to do an outreach for a neighborhood, you have to have their data. You need to know who lives there. You have to have their phone numbers. You have to have their emails, and you have to have a plan to contact these people. And before the pandemic, he would talk about holding some sort of community event and then invite all the neighbors to participate, right? So honing in on your farm, a subdivision of 1,000 people, right? And he would talk about maybe hosting a movie in the park and then calling and emailing all the neighbors to come to the movie in the park. Okay, can't do that right now with the pandemic. But think about the different nonprofits that you could team up with. Think about the food shelters that are nearby, that you could reach out to a food shelter and say, hey, do you mind if I do a food drive, collect canned food for the Lincoln City People Mission? Now go to your neighborhood park or go to your brokerage parking lot and then call and do an outreach and email and do an outreach for those 1,000 people that are closest to you in that neighborhood and let them know, hey, I am your local realtor or I'm a local real estate agent. I'm not an e-agent virtual, right? I'm in this, I'm local, we're in this together, but it's something bigger than me and you right now. Let's support a food shelter. Hold a blood mobile, a blood drive at your brokerage, right? I mean, a lot of blood mobiles are super low inventory right now because people aren't donating blood because they're not going to work. And a lot of times the blood mobile would go to their work and then they would just donate blood during their lunch hour. They're not doing that right now. So now have the Nebraska blood mobile, I live in Lincoln, Nebraska, park at your brokerage and use it as an outreach. An animal shelter, go encourage people to go donate to an animal shelter or adopt a pet, right? Those are things that you can do right now virtually and have conversations with people. And then as you get to know people, right, you have conversations with them. You know, you're at the neighborhood park collecting canned food, or hey, if you can't make it to the park on Sunday, I'll stop by your house and I'll leave food on the porch and I'll pick it up. And then you can start asking people questions like, where are you from originally? Oh, great. So how long have you lived here? Great. Do you have family back in Kearney still? Have you thought about moving back there as well? What do you love about the neighborhood? What don't you like? And what you'll discover, everybody, is that you'll start having people open up to you. Like, yeah, we love the neighborhood, but you know what? A lot of our friends have moved away. Our last daughter graduated 2 years ago, you know, et cetera. And there's a lead for you. It's somebody that you're doing an outreach for, right? And I'll tell you what, since this pandemic happened, our business has been the busiest it's ever been in the 16 years I've been here. I partner with most of the major coaching companies out there. You know, the Mike Ferries, the Tom Ferry coaches, the Jared James, all these major coaches are referring their clients over to us because they're saying you need to double down on lead generation and prospecting right now. And you got to be paying attention to how you're making money. Are you making money on those other lead sources? And if you're not, then maybe you should be trying something like Cole because you want to be cutting costs right now as well, getting lean, but then continuing your outreach. Have a big net and start to have more conversations with people. Okay, you can create a monthly e-newsletter specific. You know, you have all the database. You should be emailing your database relevant information. Maybe the next thing though is going to be emailing them information about here's local restaurants in your zip code that need your support right now, right? Here's their daily specials each day, you know, things like that. And then brand it as you're the local real estate agent, the local expert, right? Think long-term, always come from contribution as well. Contacting the immediate neighbors around your last job, right? So you can't do an open house right now physically. Do a virtual open house. Hold an open house and then call and email all the neighbors and say, hey, we can't do a normal open house, so here's the virtual link to it, right? Things like that. Again, think outside the box of different ways for you to have conversations with people, but really engage with your local community. And it's not just people in your industry that are doing this right now. Here's a roofer in Fort Worth who's been a client of ours for a year and says, you know, there's really no better way than to break into a community than with phone calls, individualized letters, and email. So a multi-channel approach with a very hyper-local area. All right. Any questions so far, guys, before I move on? All right. I don't see any other questions, so I'll go on to about how to leverage technology to help make things happen as well. Okay. So you want to leverage technology. You know, you can make a ton of phone calls with this baby right here, right? Just pick up the phone, start dialing and having conversations with people. You could do that. However, maybe you could drop a voicemail as well, and or send an email, you know, get a dialer. So a company that I would have you guys check out is called SlyDial. It's SLY, SlyDial.com. They're not our company, just a partner of ours. And they have the technology where you can drop a voicemail, right? So you can record a voicemail, put in somebody's cell phone number, hit a button, and it delivers the voicemail without that person's phone number ever dialing. Okay, and you can do that with 5 phone numbers or 500 phone numbers at a time if you wanted to. So then what you could do is take a neighborhood like with Cole. So with our system, you can map out a neighborhood. Let's say you get the 500 cell phone numbers out of a specific neighborhood, right? You could download that list to Excel, and then you upload it into one of those ringless voicemail systems. And in this case, John Mosillo, he's a client of ours in New Hampshire. And when I reached out to him recently and interviewed him, he's like, Tyler, I would love for you to interview me because I'm not one of those agents who's just going to pick up the phone and make 500 calls a day. It's not in my DNA, right? I'm not Greg Harrelson, is basically what he said. He goes, but I've had a ton of success using your system. And what he did is he had a great family that lived in a busy street that wanted to live in a specific neighborhood. So he took those cell phones out of a neighborhood, let's say Edenton South neighborhood, and he dropped a voicemail saying something like this. Hey there, my name is John Mosillo. I'm a local realtor just down the street from your neighborhood. I'm at 70th and Old Cheney. And the reason I was calling is that I have a great family that would live in your neighborhood. They currently live on Patterson Street right now. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with Patterson Street, but it's a really busy neighborhood and a really busy street. In particular, they live by the intersection and they're actually scared for their kids to play out in their front yard. And they live in your neighborhood where it's a quiet neighborhood, big trees, and maybe when their kids get a little bit older, they can walk to Maxey Elementary. I was wondering if you knew of anybody who might be looking to sell right now. Okay? I'd love to bring my buyers to the property and show them. A very non-intrusive voicemail. He sent an email with the same sort of verbiage in the subject line put, buyers looking in Edenton South subdivision. Fast forward, he had a retired couple where the wife replied to one of his emails. He said he got over a 50% open rate by email in the specific neighborhood. And then the husband replied to his voicemail. They were getting ready to move to a retirement home. They hadn't listed their property yet. And so he brought his buyer to the property. They loved it, got a pocket listing out of the deal. So I challenge you guys today, if you have buyers that want to live closer to their in-laws, if you have buyers that want to live by a golf course or a country club or a certain part of town, leverage that as a reason to do an outreach. And what John said is he actually had a lot of other people call him back as well because they were interested. They're like, hey, yeah, we might be looking to sell our house soon, but not quite yet, right? And just, again, think outside the box of things that you can do. And right now, if you want to engage with the community, maybe it's using this sort of technology to invite people to a virtual open house. Invite them to a food drive you're doing at your brokerage parking lot. Invite them to the neighborhood park where you're going to be letting people, collecting food for the People's City Mission, things like that. Okay, any questions so far, guys?
I got no questions yet on the chat. Make sure you guys ask questions. Put it on the chat if you guys have a question.
Okay, perfect, perfect. All right. So, and again, I have hundreds of case studies for real estate agents who have used our products over the years, guys. I'm probably more than that even, right? But I love giving examples of how other small businesses are using our data because you guys are ahead of the curve, right? You guys have a lot of everybody on this call has a marketing sort of background of people. But here's a contractor, again, that says, hey, we've been using Cole for 7 years to get in contact with more prospects by executing a multi-channel approach using the homeowner landline, cell phones, and email addresses. Our brand recognition has increased exponentially from our ability to grab target zip codes and implement email campaigns with relevant content for homeowners. Okay. Now, the third topic I'm going to talk about really quickly is how to clone your best prospects. Okay, guys, you guys know who your ideal prospect is, right? And maybe it's a niche market. Maybe it's people that you go to church with. Maybe it's the parents of the kids that your kids go to school with. Maybe it's the neighborhood that you live in, right? And those are the people that you want to network. But then there's other sort of what we call micro marketing, where you can drill down to a specific niche of prospects, of people that you never have talked to before, and do an outreach to them. So for example, with our system, you could go in, grab a couple of zip codes, and narrow the list down by maybe people who own their home, been there for at least 10 years, and a certain income level, right? And then output that list to create a call and an email campaign and utilize the cell phones and email addresses to fill the pipeline, okay? So the whole goal is to get you in front of a crowd of people who are most likely to resonate with the outbound prospecting that you're doing, okay? So I'm gonna log into our system just really quickly, guys, and just show you how easy it is to actually use our system, okay? And how it's easy to pull up a list. So for example, you'd get your own login credentials. You can log in 24/7 whenever you want to. You get access to your entire state, which you're probably not gonna need your entire state, I know that, but you can go in there and that way you're not limited to what zip codes you want, what neighborhood you want. You log in and it will ask you for some sort of geo area. So I'm gonna say, hey, I want everybody who owns their home in this zip code. So 68516 is the zip code that I live in here in Lincoln, Nebraska, who own their home in that zip code. I can narrow it down if I wanted a list of people a certain home value. Maybe I want a higher credit rating. Okay, I want people who have a credit indicator of 650 or higher, and maybe have lived there for 8 years. Okay, that are a little bit more likely to sell. I can narrow down my income levels, what vehicles they drive. Maybe you're a Harley guy. Maybe you're a motorcycle guy. Maybe you own a Cadillac or a Beamer, and you find all the other people who drive Cadillacs like you do. Maybe you want to find people who are golfers because you're a big golfer yourself or a hunter. Maybe you want to narrow your list down by language, race, people who own pets, just all these different filters, right? I'm going to leave a lot of those blank for now because the list might get too small. But I am going to say I want everybody here to have at least one email address tied to it. So it's going to use those data elements that we're doing a query on, and then real time, within seconds, I have a list of 4,600 people who meet my criteria that I can just download to Excel, and I'm off and going, okay? Or before I download to Excel, I could say, hey, I want to know everybody's age, and I want to know how long they've lived there, and maybe their lender name as well, to see if they went with a local lender name, lender, things like that. So all of these different data elements. Again, guys, it kind of depends on what you want to do. But here now, at my fingertips, here's 4,600 people. You can see we get a combination of their names, addresses, home phones, cell phones. They all have emails. But then I might do a different marketing campaign for somebody who's above the age of 80, right? I might do another marketing campaign for anybody who's been at their house for at least 10 years or 15 years, using that criteria to decide who your ideal prospect is. Okay, and again, you just download the list to Excel and you're off and going. There's no, with our, you don't get paid, you don't charge by the name, downloaded records or anything like that. It's completely unlimited. Okay. Now, maybe you wanted to go after apartment renters instead. Maybe maybe you have a listing right now and you're trying to find first-time home buyers for it. Maybe you're a buyer's agent. You want to find, work with other buyers right now. I could say, hey, I want all the apartment renters in that zip code. And I'm going to say, instead of having an email address, I'm going to say all possible records and hit search. I don't know of any other data sources that have this sort of information where you can actually get the apartment renter. So here's 1,800 apartment renters in the zip code. You can actually see on Tierra Drive, we actually have the tenant information, their home phones, cell phones, and emails were available as well. Okay, lots of great data. And then the last search I want to show you really, really quickly would be the neighborhood search. And again, guys, this probably isn't something new to you. You probably have seen other systems like this where we team up with Google Maps to let you do an aerial view and map out the neighborhood that you want. It will ask you for a starting point address or at least a zip code in that area that you want to prospect to, right? Or at least a street name. So I'm going to say I want all the homeowners in that neighborhood. And this is great. If you have an expired and you want to look up a phone number or an email for an expired, obviously you can get those on your account, your MLS. So you can look those addresses up one by one if you want to get that information. You have partial leads, things like that. But then I can say, hey, I want to map out or do a radius around that specific address. So again, guys, think hyper local, that you want to own the mind share of this neighborhood. So I want everybody in Edenton South subdivision, on this side of Old Cheney, on this side of the Sheridan Lutheran Church, and we're off and going. And think about nonprofits that you could work with right now, partner with, to help support them, will also generate some leads of your own, right? But again, it's bigger than me and you right now. We're going through a crazy time. So leveraging, different partnerships that you could have with nonprofits is a great way to get your name out here. So now we have 1,800 people within that neighborhood that I might want to go after, right? We get a combination of their home phones, cell phones, and emails. We could add their length of residence. We could add their age. We could add their home value to the list if we wanted to before we downloaded it as well. Okay, so just taking data and making it actionable, having conversations with people. And then our deal, guys, with pricing is, like I said, we don't charge by the name or the download. It's a flat fee. Normally, if you call in today, talk to one of my inside sales reps, normally it's $995 for a year, and you could use it as much as you want to throughout the year. We do have a promotion special for your group. So if you call in or go to this landing page and mention this webinar, your partnership with Pacific Coast Title, we'll knock off $200 off the price. So normally it's $995. If you get it here, it's and mention this partnership, it's $795 a year. So $200 off. So it's $795 for a year. You get your own login credentials. You get training, full state access with limited searches and downloads. And then you can just go in there and create the list whenever you want to as well. So go to this landing page. If you go to this landing page now, guys, I'll also send over our full case study that we did with Greg Harrelson, where he shares his scripts. He shares how he dominates the mind share of a neighborhood. He talks about his philosophy of actually taking that same list and uploading it into Facebook for a custom audience. So now you do an ad specifically for that neighborhood, and he teaches everybody how to do that as well. So go to partner.coalinformation.com/all access, which means that you get all of our data, all the premium data as well. But go to this link to get more information if you want. And again, if you fill out that landing page, we'll send you that case study on Greg Harrelson as well.
And when you say unlimited there, are we talking about as many numbers as you'd like, as long, doesn't matter?
So, yes, that's what. So we have clients that download 1,000 records a week. We have clients that download 100,000 records a week. So it is completely unlimited. We do have some checks and balances in place, right? So we check IP addresses. We have confirmation that it's only a single agent and it's not a Keller Williams, brokerage that's buying it for 500 agents and different things like that. So, but yeah, otherwise it's completely unlimited.
That's really good.
So questions, guys, please. I'd love to hear from you. Any questions you might have.
The one of the last questions was that, how many contacts can you download at a time? But you just answered it. It's as many as you want.
Yep,
right?
It's completely unlimited, right? And yeah, and then our biggest thing, guys, is we want to make the data actionable, right? So where do you start? Okay, this is great. What do I say? So when you sign up, you get a one-on-one training call with one of our customer service reps here. But then we have this resource center as well, where you could actually, hey, what's the script should I use? And you can actually download a script of what to say around an open house, what to say when you get a just listed or a just sold, right? So we have all these, this content that we're sharing with our team all the time as well. Okay, so that's what the biggest thing is, that we want to make sure that you're using it and having success with the system.
So we got another question from Santos. Are you able to get probate numbers?
We are. Those are hard, guys. I mean, that's not something that most people can do, especially at our price point, where essentially you're paying, if you think $795 for a year at 12 months, it's like $55 a month or something like that. So it's completely unlimited.
Santos, give me a call. I can put you in the right direction to get those numbers.
Yeah, I mean, there's other companies that do that, right? Now, if you do have your own list, so let's say you have your own list of addresses that you've gotten from your county assessor or partial leads over the years or things like that, you actually can upload them into our system, and that's included. We call it Retriever, where you can actually upload your own list of, let's say, 100 addresses or 1,000 addresses. You can upload them, and then we'll append and put cell phone numbers and emails onto that list as well, and that would be included with your subscription.
I got Ida. Ida Love is asking, what phone dialer are you using?
Yeah, I mean, we are not a dialer. We are just the data. You can take any of our lists, you just put them into Excel, download it to Excel, and then import it into any dialer you're using. We're integrated. So if you say, hey, I'm using Vulcan 7 or I'm using Mojo, you can pick one of those in the download option and your list will go straight to that system.
Let me answer that too. I'm sorry to interrupt, Tyler.
No.
And I know you don't want to say this, and this is not coming from him, but Mojo, Vulcan, they buy the data from this company.
Mhm.
So don't go and waste your money with Vulcan or Mojo, because it's the same data. Sorry.
So yeah, and again, and if there's other dialers out there, right? So we're not a dialer. And again, if you've never made any phone calls before, guys, I would say, again, start small. Do some, do a virtual open house or do something for a nonprofit for a neighborhood, and then just pick up the phone and call. Because you have no idea how many phone calls you can make just by locking yourself in a room for an hour, right? And then when you want to take it to the next level, that's where you can maybe find one of those dialer systems out there as well, or slide dial that I was talking about earlier. Different systems like that.
I got a question from Diego. Do you scrub for do not call list?
Yeah, so all the numbers we will provide all possible numbers. If you want to see which numbers are okay to call or DNC, we provide that option as well. And then it will say okay or DNC next to the phone number. First and foremost, follow the law. That's what we always say. And I'm not a lawyer by any means, but if you're inviting all the neighbors to a food drive that you're doing at your brokerage, is it a sales call? If you're calling into a neighborhood and saying, I have a great family that would love to live in your neighborhood, do you happen to know of anybody who's looking to sell their house right now? Is it a sales call? Or we're having a virtual open house. So make sure to do what you feel comfortable with on that end. But we do have the option of flagging them in our system as well. Absolutely.
I got a message from Jeanette Casas. Are the emails provided and are they accurate?
Yeah, so we have an email. So if you just look at, I'm just going to pull up another neighborhood again. I'm going to use my same neighborhood that I did before, just so I have a list up in front of me. I'm going to put all possible records. And then I'm going to do a radius real quickly, everybody within a quarter mile of that property. Okay, just so I have a list up in front of me really quickly, guys. So it's going to lasso that data here, 600 records. So you can see when I do this list, we are not going to have it for everybody, right? So we have if you look at a household, so like here, Michael and Pat Schneider, we don't have any we don't have an email for either of them, right? And then the Dowdings, we have 3 contacts and then 1 email. So if you look at just a traditional homeowner list, we have at least 1 landline for half of all homeowners, sorry, at least 1 cell phone for half of all homeowners, and at least 1 email for half of all homeowners. The emails are pinged ahead of time, so they should be delivered without any issues or with a lot of issues. The biggest thing, you don't want to be emailing 10,000 emails all at once. You want to keep really small. And then within the system, you can decide, do you want the best possible data? And if you do, you can pick head of household. I want to know the person who most likely the bill is tied to that address, and it's going to be really accurate information. You can say, though, I want previous occupants. I want people who maybe have lived there in the past, because as long as they answer their phone or open up an email, I don't care. So you can kind of decide on your end. We give the power to our clients on who they want to prospect to. Great question.
Do you share information as far as number of occupants, income, and profession?
Yeah, I mean, we have lots of different queries, right? So profession is not a query that we have, but income levels on there, net worth to kind of get you after the right person. And then you can use a lot of these consumer interests to try to find a niche market as well. Like I said earlier, hunters, golfers, people who like football, things like that as well. So, but occupation won't be on there, unfortunately. All right, anything else, guys?
Some great information, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I would encourage you guys, I mean, if you just want to get more, like, again, that Greg Harrell, I have a really good Greg Harrelson interview, and I talked a lot about it because he just says, hey, if you want to own the mind share of a neighborhood, you need to be having a multi-channel reach to them. And he says, he's like, these people don't know me yet. So I hate just calling and just, hey, do you want to sell your house? That's not the approach I want to have. So he's like, you have to think outside the box to stay relevant. Create a monthly e-newsletter specific for that neighborhood. And in the subject line, put Edenton South e-newsletter, right? And then provide them content. But then people open up something like that because it resonates to them. So if you guys go to this landing page, again, partner.coinformation.com/all access. If you go there, fill out your information there, we will send you, and you have to buy there. It's just, you fill out that form to learn more. And we'll send you that video that I did as well. And again, guys, it's normally $995 for the year. You mentioned this presentation, this partnership, it's a $200 discount. Make sure to mention that to the sales rep that you work with as well.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right. Jorge, anything you want to add at all?
Well, guys, you learned a couple of weeks ago, we did that Facebook training, using those cell numbers for Facebook to be great. We have the Lion Desk. They were here a couple of weeks ago. Now you have the data to use Lion Desk, to text, to email, to call.
Yep.
There's no excuses. Literally, there's no excuses. We're giving you all the information that you need to be very successful. Remember the 4 touches that we did a training of the 4 touches. It's 5, but we cannot or not. Start touching people in multiple ways. We did that training a couple of weeks ago. Remember, I was even joking. What happened, Maria Pimentel, if I start going and start touching you? You will get upset with me, right? So saying that, Maria, don't get upset with me. Not every single touch is going to be a good touch. There's going to be some nasty people, angry people, that they're going to say, why you're calling me? Why you're sending me a text? So don't worry. Go to the next one and the next one, the next one. It's data. So there's going to be good numbers. There's going to be bad numbers. There's going to be good touches, bad touches. You guys have everything, everything. You guys are so lucky to be doing real estate right now because there's so many resources, so many tools. I remember a couple of years ago, there was no cell numbers, nothing. It was hard to do real estate. The MLS, if one day you want to see the MLS book, I have it right here in my office. It was a book. Only Lou Morelli and myself will remember that. But you guys are extremely lucky to be doing title, to doing real estate right now. And we're lucky to be doing title with you guys as partners. So please contact your title rep if you need more information. We have great, great tools. Taylor, I want to say thank you so much. And just to make this Zoom call legal, I need to talk about title for a few seconds, a few minutes. Thank you so much. So on title, we have LA County still not doing special recordings. We have that they're not going to open until next year. They already confirmed LA County will be closed for special recordings until next year. So if you have any type of accommodations, anything that you need to do like that, let us know. We can help you. We can put you in contact with the right person. Second, absentee owners, they're still huge, still very strong at 63% on openings for title, for Pacific Coast Title. 63% of our business is coming from absentee owners. You partner with called Realty, and you can get those absentee owners, and that's going to be a huge market for you guys. And just to, I know I got you a little confused with all my texts and all that. Next Thursday, we're gonna be talking, and I got a second person who just confirmed. We're gonna be talking about foreclosures. What's gonna happen in the near future? And I have a special invite that is gonna talk about commercial and industrial foreclosures. That's gonna be one of the biggest markets ever in the last 60 years. Commercial foreclosures, they're gonna be huge, huge. So you guys need to learn that one. You need to master that one because there's a lot of money there. Those warehouses, those churches, even, believe it or not, they even foreclose on churches. So please try to make that seminar on Thursday at 1 p.m. Any questions, guys?
Great call. Good job.
Well, the thing is, you guys are mute, so even if you want to ask questions, you can't. So hold on, let me mute everybody so we can say bye to everybody like normal people. Let's see. You guys, you did it, Anthony? Okay, you can unmute yourself if you have any questions.
I had a question for Tyler.
Yes, sir.
Tyler, you're in Lincoln, Nebraska, is that correct?
I am home of the Huskers. Yes.
Have you ever been on a Saturday afternoon to a Huskers game?
Every year for the past 20 years, except for this year, it will not happen.
No,
I'm
not-
wearing my Husker red even. So you,
I was there about 12 years ago because two of my friends went to the University of Nebraska. Quite an old stadium, quite a beautiful ground.
it's the best. And again, we're a small, Lincoln's 300,000 people. It's just a big, small town, and we all love our Husker football. And so hopefully you got treated right. We're always told that we're one of the friendliest crowds. So hopefully you got some high fives from strangers here.
I have a question for the speaker. What is his name? I'm sorry.
Tyler.
Tyler, I have a question for you. I know you said it's I think it's like $800 a year. Do they have to pay for it in one payment, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, so the issue, so it's
Okay.
$795 a year, and it is upfront for the year. And the reason is that you could download 800,000 records tomorrow and then want to cancel. So that's why we do a full year. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee as long as you don't download more than 2,000 records.
Got it. Okay, that's
Okay,
perfect. You answered my question.
Tyler, this is Michael Nuri, Pacific Coast Title. One of my customers has a question up here. She was asking, do you share information about lender or loan on the property?
Yeah, I mean, so very little. It's not going to be a whole lot of in-depth information. It will be who the original lender was when they bought the property. That will be on there. And I showed how you could add that to your list in one of those searches that I did. And that way you could try to find local properties or local lenders versus national lenders. And you could also plot the original term. It was a 15-year versus a 30-year. But other than that, we're not going to have more in depth. I guess the original loan amount is one of on there as well.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Javier, are you on the call? Javier Munoz?
Hey, Georgie, how you doing? Thanks for having us again. Realtors, Javier, Downey Exterminators, providing you with service, with the termite service. I know that, keep in touch with your buyers. I know that it's very common to waive the termite inspection due to the multiple offers, and I understand that, but they're calling us requesting termite inspection. So keep in touch with them and refer us Downey Exterminators. Thank you so much.
Any lenders? Any lenders? Yes, I'm sorry. Question for Javi?
No, for you, Jorge, it's Kim, Pacific Coast, your coworker.
Hey, Kim.
Hi. An agent of mine just texted me that's on this call. And actually it's kind of interesting. What is your feeling? Basically, he said, why do we see foreclosures coming?
There's a lot of filings of delinquencies, a lot of filings, tons. Second, just I don't know if you guys checked the news. Felicia was telling me there's American Airlines just let go 40,000 people.
Thank you.
Sorry, somebody was knocking on my door. So there's gonna be a lot of jobs that they're not coming back. A lot of jobs are not coming back. And guess what? A lot of those, they own houses. So they're gonna struggle to find a job. They're gonna struggle to make those payments. So this is not gonna be a short sale market because the properties are not gonna be upside down. The properties are gonna be, they're gonna have equity, but they're not gonna have a job. So when you don't have a job, you cannot pay your mortgage. So guess what's gonna happen?
I understand, Jorge. This is John Church. Kim asked that question for me. Sorry, I was on another call and she made that.
Don't worry, Sean.
Hey, you know, I've been looking at a lot of those futures and I understand what you say, but we've been running into bailouts. Now, if we do run into a foreclosure market, it's probably not going to be until the middle or end of next year. Because, I mean, election year, they're going to want everybody to keep their homes.
It's not going to be, Sean, it's not going to be this year for sure,
Yeah.
So guess what? We need to be ready. We need to be prepared for that market. And that's the biggest problem in the real estate industry. We wait and we wait and we wait. Don't wait. Let's get ready for that market. And I was just talking to Pavan Madi. He's a big time agent, real estate agent, commercial real estate agent. He's an economist. So he's going to talk about the foreclosures on the industrial and commercial real estate. That's even going to be huge. That's going to be bigger, than residential. So
how do you feel about a residential agent getting into commercial real estate?
I think
there's not a whole lot of similarities there.
I think you're wasting your time if you don't train yourself to go to that market, because guess what? You're going to find that it's not the same effort. It's going to be even better, less effort, and more commission. You just need to take those trainings. There's a lot of trainings that I'm going to call me and I can put you in contact with a couple of guys that they're doing those trainings, but that commercial and industrial is going to be big. Just to give you an example, Sean, my wife, she owns a little store. She was going to move to another location, and I told my wife, no, this is not the right time. Forget it. Well, she called me the other day. She goes, oh, they're giving me free rent for 6 months, then 3 months of half of the rent. So that's 9 months. So I'm like, what? So I went and I checked, and yeah. So the management lady was telling me that half of the tenants, and Javier knows that shopping center, it's pretty big. They're not paying the rent. So yeah, you cannot do evictions right now, but at one point, that's gonna cause a big problem. So don't miss Thursday training. It's gonna be a good training to get to understand what kind of market we're gonna hit and the techniques that you're gonna have to use to approach these homeowners. So it's Thursday at 1 p.m.
Jorge, if you get us training regarding how to sell commercial or how to move from residential into commercial, I'll use Kim for my title rep for the rest of my life.
Well, you know they call me the Sopranos of the title industry, right? So if you don't use Kim, I will send Uncle Biggie to talk to you, okay? But no, don't worry. Well, you're going to get trained.
You got to understand, I'm the guy that you would call if you're the Soprano guy. I'm the guy that gets people to take care of these things.
All right. So I'll be making a phone call to you pretty soon. All right.
There you go.
Thank you so much for being on this call today. See you next Tuesday with The Economist. See you Thursday. Don't miss Thursday. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jorge.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jorge.
Thank you, Jorge.
And Tyler.
Thank you, friend.
And Tyler, I was wrong. There was almost 100 agents.
Yeah, great turnout. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank
you.
Welcome. Have a good one, guys. See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Jeanette.
Janet, how are you, Janet? How's my
I'm
comadre?
Te voy a hablar, compadre.
Órale, te espero.
Ándale, pues. Okay. Talk to you soon.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.